The lunch rush at Rosewood Diner was already chaotic when the door opened. The bell above the entrance rang, and nearly everyone inside turned toward the door. A tall biker stepped inside. He looked like he had been riding for hours. His black leather jacket was worn and covered with road dust. His heavy boots were muddy, and his dark hair was slightly messy beneath his helmet. For a moment, nobody said anything. The biker looked around the crowded diner before choosing a small corner table. He removed his helmet, placed it beside him, and quietly waited. Maya Thompson noticed him from behind the counter. Maya was 27 years old and had worked at Rosewood Diner for almost 3 years. She had learned that appearances could be deceiving. She picked up a menu and started walking toward him. But before she reached the table, her manager, Richard, grabbed her arm. "Don't serve that man," he whispered. Maya frowned. "What?" Richard glanced toward the biker. "He'll scare away the customers. Look at him." Maya looked back. The biker was sitting quietly. "He hasn't done anything," she said. "I don't care. Tell him we're full." "But we're not full." Richard's voice became colder. "Maya, I'm your manager. Do what I said." Maya looked at the biker again. He was staring at the menu, completely unaware of the conversation. She gently pulled her arm away. "I'll serve him." Richard stared at her. "What did you say?" "I said I'll serve him." Before Richard could respond, Maya walked to the table. She smiled politely. "Good afternoon. Welcome to Rosewood Diner. Can I get you something to drink?" The biker looked up. His eyes were tired, but his voice was gentle. "Coffee, please." "Absolutely." Maya smiled. "Our chicken fried steak is popular. I'll take that." "Anything else?" He hesitated. "Some water would be nice." "Coming right up." Maya returned with coffee and water. "Thank you," the biker said. "You're welcome." She walked away. From behind the counter, Richard was watching her. "You just don't listen, do you?" he muttered. Maya ignored him. A few minutes later, she brought the meal. The biker looked at the plate and smiled. "That looks great. I hope you like it." He took his first bite. Then another. Maya noticed something strange. He wasn't eating quickly because he was greedy. He was eating like someone who hadn't had a proper meal in a long time. She quietly brought him another glass of water. "Long ride?" she asked. The biker nodded. "Almost 12 hours. That's a long time." "Yeah." He looked out the window. "Had to get somewhere before dark." Maya smiled. "Well, you're here now. Take your time." He nodded. "Thank you, Maya." She looked surprised. "How do you know my name?" He pointed toward her name tag. "Oh." He smiled. "I'm Daniel." "Nice to meet you, Daniel." From the counter, Richard rolled his eyes. About 20 minutes later, Daniel finished his meal. He reached into his pocket for his wallet. But suddenly, his expression changed. His hand went to his chest. Maya noticed immediately. "Daniel." He tried to speak. I'm okay." But he wasn't. His face had become pale. Maya rushed toward him. "Richard, call emergency services." Richard hesitated. Maya shouted again. "Now." The entire diner became silent. Daniel leaned back in his chair, struggling to breathe. Maya stayed beside him. "Daniel, stay with me." He nodded weakly. "You're going to be okay." A few minutes later, help arrived. Daniel was taken outside. Maya stood near the door, worried. Richard approached her. "You made a scene." Maya turned around. "A man needed help. You shouldn't have gotten involved." Maya stared at him. "Then maybe someone else should have." Richard said nothing. Nearly an hour later, Maya received a phone call. Daniel was stable. He had become dehydrated and exhausted after the long ride and had suffered a serious health scare. Maya felt relieved. The next morning, she arrived at the diner early. She expected another normal day. But when she opened the door, she stopped. Outside were dozens of motorcycles. Bikers filled the parking lot. Richard rushed toward the window. "What is this?" Maya didn't know. Then the door opened. Daniel walked inside. He looked much better. Behind him were several other bikers. Daniel smiled at Maya. "Good morning." Maya smiled. "Daniel, how are you feeling?" "Much better." He looked around the diner. "Is Richard here?" Richard stepped forward nervously. "Yes." Daniel walked toward him. "Yesterday, your employee treated me with respect when you told her not to." Richard looked uncomfortable. Daniel continued. "You judged me because of my clothes." Richard didn't answer. Daniel reached into his jacket and pulled out a business card. "My name is Daniel Carter." Richard looked at the card. His eyes widened. "You're—" Daniel nodded. "Carter Logistics." Everyone knew the company. Carter Logistics was one of the largest transportation companies in the region. Daniel continued. "I have over 300 drivers who travel through this area every month." Richard swallowed. Daniel looked at Maya. "I came here yesterday because I was searching for a restaurant where my drivers could stop for meals." Maya's eyes widened. "I wanted to negotiate a long-term catering contract." Richard suddenly understood. The restaurant could have received thousands of dollars in business. But Daniel wasn't finished. "After yesterday, I decided I don't want to do business with a place that judges people by their appearance." Richard looked down. Daniel turned toward Maya. "But I do want to do business with her." Maya looked confused. "With me?" Daniel smiled. "You treated me like a human being when you had every reason to simply follow your manager's order." He handed her a folder. Inside was a proposal. Daniel wanted Maya to manage a new catering service for his company. Maya couldn't believe it. "I don't know if I can do this." Daniel smiled. "You already proved you can." Richard stood silently. For the first time, he realized his mistake. He had thought the biker was worthless. He had judged him by his dirty boots and old jacket. But the man he rejected was actually a successful businessman. And the waitress he tried to control had shown more character than he had. Richard looked at Maya. "Maya, I'm sorry." She didn't answer immediately. Then she said quietly, "Everyone deserves to be treated with respect, Richard, even when they don't look the way you expect." Daniel smiled. The bikers behind him began applauding. Within a few weeks, Maya accepted the new position. She became the manager of Carter Logistics' meal program. Rosewood Diner eventually lost the catering contract. But Maya didn't forget where everything began. She opened a small community cafe nearby where everyone was welcome. Truck drivers, bikers, office workers, homeless people, families, and anyone else who simply needed a warm meal. Above the entrance, she placed a simple sign. "Everyone gets a seat at our table." One afternoon, Daniel walked into the cafe. He looked at the sign and smiled. "You kept your promise." Maya laughed. "I never made a promise." Daniel shook his head. "You didn't have to." He sat down at the same corner table where he had sat weeks earlier. Maya brought him coffee. "Same order." Daniel smiled. "Always." And as the cafe filled with people from every walk of life, Maya looked around and realized something. The biggest changes in life don't always begin with money, power, or fame. Sometimes they begin with a simple decision: to offer kindness before judgment, and to do what is right, even when someone in authority tells you not to. That day at Rosewood Diner, Maya hadn't known who Daniel Carter was. She hadn't known he was wealthy. She hadn't known he could change her future. She simply saw a tired man who needed a meal. And because she chose kindness when it mattered most, one small act of compassion changed 2 lives, and eventually an entire community.